His name is now a symbol of jealousy, a synonym for mediocrity overshadowed by genius. Antonio Salieri, the man history has condemned as the murderer of Mozart. But the truth is far more complex and far more tragic than the legend. This is not the story of a villain. It's the story of a man who climbed from the depths of poverty to become one of the most powerful musicians in Europe, only to end his life in a mental asylum, haunted by a lie that would destroy his name forever. This is a story of ambition, power, sexual scandal, a desperate suicide attempt, and a reputation poisoned not by arsenic, but by rumor. His life began in tragedy. Born in 1750 to a wealthy merchant family in Italy, Antonio Salieri was left a penniless orphan as a teenager. His future seemed bleak, destined for poverty and obscurity. But at 16, he was discovered by the Viennese court composer Florian Gassmann, who saw his talent and brought him to Vienna, the musical capital of the world. In Vienna, Salieri's rise was meteoric. By the age of 24, he was appointed court composer to Emperor Joseph II, an incredible achievement. He was powerful, respected, and at the very center of the city's musical life. But his personal life was marked by unrelenting grief. He and his wife, Therese, had 8 children, but tragedy struck again and again. 3 of his daughters died in childhood. Then, in 1805, his only son, Alois, died at just 23. 2 years later, his wife Therese also passed away, leaving him a widower, alone. For 36 years, Salieri held the prestigious post of Imperial Kapellmeister, the most influential musical position in Europe. He controlled the Vienna opera scene, deciding which works were performed and which were not. This immense power naturally bred resentment and professional rivalry. And his greatest rival, at least in the eyes of history, was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. In his letters, Mozart complained bitterly about an Italian clique sabotaging his career, with Salieri at its head. "You know these Italian gentlemen, they are very nice to your face. Enough, we all know about them." There was real professional tension. When both men competed for the job of music tutor to the emperor's niece, it was Salieri who won the lucrative position, denying Mozart a crucial source of income. But the most scandalous part of Salieri's life wasn't his professional rivalry, it was his personal affairs. For years, he carried on a public affair with his star pupil, the soprano Caterina Cavalieri. Their relationship was an open secret. She was his student, and he was her lover. He wrote dazzling arias specifically for her, showcasing her talent to the world. And they made no effort to hide their romance, appearing together in public, all while Salieri's wife was still alive. This public display of infidelity was a scandal, cementing Salieri's reputation as a powerful man who took what he wanted. And then came the lie that would define him. On December 5, 1791, Mozart died at the age of 35. Within weeks, rumors began to circulate that he had been poisoned. The myth was born, and Salieri was cast as the villain. In reality, modern medical research shows Mozart likely died from complications of a severe streptococcal infection. There is no evidence of poisoning. But the story was too good to let go. It was immortalized by the Russian poet Alexander Pushkin, then by the composer Rimsky-Korsakov, and finally by the Oscar-winning film Amadeus, which cemented Salieri's image as a malevolent genius killer in the minds of millions. For Salieri, these rumors were a slow-acting poison that destroyed him from the inside. As he grew older, his physical and mental health collapsed. In the autumn of 1823, he suffered a complete breakdown. No longer being able to be cared for at home, he was taken by force to the Vienna General Hospital and committed to its asylum. There, in a moment of despair, he tried to take his own life. He took a knife and attempted to slit his throat. The attempt failed, but news of it, combined with delirious confessions that he had killed Mozart, spread like wildfire through Vienna. The rumors had finally consumed him. For the last 18 months of his life, Salieri was a prisoner in the asylum. He sat in a wheelchair, his throat bandaged, wearing the medals the emperor had once awarded him over his drab hospital gown. A man who had once commanded the musical world was now a broken, tormented figure. When a former student visited him, the dying Salieri swore with his last ounce of strength, "I can assure you on my word of honor that there is no truth to that absurd rumor, that I killed Mozart." It was a plea for his legacy, a final, desperate attempt to reclaim his name from the lie that had haunted him for over 30 years. Antonio Salieri died on May 7, 1825. His music was quickly forgotten, and his name was remembered only as the man who murdered Mozart. One historian bitterly noted, "It was not Mozart who was poisoned, but Salieri, poisoned by rumor." The true dirty facts of Salieri's life are not some fabricated murder. They are the real documented tragedies: the brutal loss of his children, the public affair with his mistress, the professional intrigues, the horrifying mental collapse, the agony of his time in the asylum, and the posthumous destruction of his reputation. These facts don't paint a picture of a villain, but of a profoundly tragic figure, a man punished by life and then by history, far more cruelly than he ever deserved.